30.
20.
5, 4, 3,
2.
1. Ignition sequence start.
This is just the beginning.
Are you ready?
Here comes the best part.
1, 2, 3.
Go.
Life Matters, a 6-time winner of the best morning show in Wisconsin. Hosted by Nancy Douglas and Tom Giovanoni.
All of you, get ready.
Life Matters begins on Lake 96.1.
Welcome to Life Matters. Wow.
Morning. Yeah.
Oof. Long week. First, though, on the show, we're going to talk. We got two people on the show today. Dick Knapinski, he is with the EAA AirVenture event that's going on. It starts July 20th.
Such a cool event.
Totally cool. We talk to him every single year. He's actually sitting on hold right now, so we're going to go to break and get him up here and on the board and chat with him. And then Renee Wilging is going to join us after that. She's going to clear up a few things about insurance and what's covered when storms like this go through and some things like that. And one of the things we're going to talk about at the end of the show, too, is just the enormous amount of community spirit that this area has shown. And we would be really negligent to not speak to that. This is an incredible area that we live in, and it was proven over and over and over again over the last week or so. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk to Renee. But first up, we're going to go to break real quick. We're going to get Dick coming in on the phone through the board. He's, again, on hold right now, and we're going to talk a little bit about EAA AirVenture. That's right after this, right here on Lake 96.1.
Life Matters continues on Lake 96.1.
Welcome back to Life Matters. All right, so we thoroughly enjoy having our next guest on every year to talk about one of the world's greatest events that happens right here in our...
Yeah, it's up there in the top 3, I think.
It definitely is right up there with... Wisconsin puts on all the good events. Summerfest.
It's like the best state to be
Country
in.
Thunder and this
DOS
one,
Fest.
though. Yeah, DOS Fest. This one, though, this is a big deal.
It's at a different level.
It absolutely is. The EAA Adventure is here. It's coming up. And Dick Knapinski joins us this morning. How are you, sir?
Well, it's definitely a lot of people are interested in me right now and want to know what I'm thinking. So, it fills my lonely hours very effectively, but we're looking forward to July 20th, an opening day when the world literally comes to Wisconsin with their aircraft and makes it something special once again.
Well, tell us, speaking of something special, there's always something new and something that we're celebrating. And this year, I see we are celebrating the freedom of flight, obviously in conjunction with the America 250 birthday this year. So talk to us about everything we have to look forward to at the AirVenture this year.
Wow, there's so much, going July 20th through the 26th, another week long. We call it the world's greatest aviation celebration. I like to call it aviation's family reunion because no matter what people fly, what they like to see flying, what's in the air, there is something for them, and that's what makes it so incredible. We've seen business aviation shows and small fly-ins and trade shows and everything else, but this is all in one place in 1 week in Oshkosh. And you're right, this year we're celebrating America 250. Why wouldn't we be? It's the thing to talk about this year, because for about half of those 250 years, aviation has been at the forefront. America's been the leader in aviation. There is more recreational aviation that goes on than in the United States than the rest of the world combined. If you add up the flight hours. And so to bring all those people together, not only from throughout the country, but from around the world, from more than 90 countries last year, and all arriving here at Oshkosh to see what's new, maybe what's old, what they can see flying, and a collection of people and airplanes that simply don't get together anyplace else in the world except Oshkosh. And that's what makes it so much fun. And, you start breaking down the details of this being here, that being there. And I can tell you, we get the Thursday sometimes, and somebody said, "Hey, did you see this land?" I said, "No, that's here too." Really?
Wow.
When did that get here? Tuesday? Oh, okay. So those type of things all take place. And that's really what makes this event unique. It makes this event something that is not matched anywhere in the world, and something when you say the word Oshkosh to pilots, they know exactly what you're talking about.
Sure. I bet they do. I know that, this year, one of the new things is the Red Arrows, the Royal Air Force Aerobatic Team. Tell us about them.
Yeah, well, it's America's 250th anniversary, so why not invite the British?
Yeah, well, they lost it, so
Yeah,
might as well.
Maybe they want to come over and see how the ungrateful colonists are doing. And, they're going to be here. First time that they have ever been to Oshkosh. They happen to be in America, flying some shows. You may have seen them. They're flying over New York, Washington, Philadelphia over the past couple of weeks. And they were supposed to go back about this time of year, about this time of the month, to go back to Britain. And they said, boy, it'd be great if we could fly to Oshkosh. If we could work it out, would you like to have us? And we say, oh, yeah, we would. And so they had to go to, I don't know, the Royal Ministry of Defense or Aeronautics or whatever they have over there in London and work that out. And it took a while. But finally in May, they said, yep, we can make it work. And so they're going to be here the final 3 days of the show, July 24th, 25th, and 26th, flying their bright red aircraft, their jet aircraft. And it's a beautiful formation, 7 to 9 airplanes at one time, doing some incredible things. And like I said, first time they've been here. And, it's not too many teams that can say they have not been at Oshkosh, because we've had the Blue Angels, the Thunderbirds, the Snowbirds, the Italian military team a couple of years ago. All of those have been here, but the Brits never have been. And so to have them here is something pretty special. They're excited to be coming, and we're pretty fired up about having them here.
Yeah, just keep changing it up every year. It keeps people coming back.
Well, everything, yeah. I mean, there's always something
cool.
new. Speaking of military type aircraft and those kinds of shows, U.S. Air Force is going to be there. The Pacific Air Forces. What will they do at the show?
Yeah, every year we salute a different command of the U.S. Air Force. We've had the Fighter Command, the Bomber Command, the Materials Command, the Special Operations, and this year it's the Pacific Air Force, which covers a massive amount of ground, not only the Pacific Ocean based in Hawaii, but the west coast of the U.S., the Far East, all the way into the Middle East, and even Antarctica. That's all under the Pacific Air Force.
Oh, wow.
So they're going to be sending airplanes. They've got a C-17 coming from Hickam Air Force Base in Hawaii, and C-17 is one of those massive cargo aircraft that come in. And the great thing about it is, unlike an air show where you'll see it fly by and go, well, that's pretty cool, here it's parked on the ground. You can walk through the airplane and literally go in one end and come out the other to see what they're doing. Talk to the loadmasters, talk to the pilots right there. If you need some shade, that's a huge wing. You can stand underneath and get a lot of shade for a long time.
So there is shade at Oshkosh.
There is, yeah. And, we're going to have from the Air Force, we've got F-18s coming in. We've got F-15s, F-16s coming in that will be here. We have a C-5 coming in, another massive cargo airplane as well. A B-52 bomber will be here during part of the week as well. So all of these airplanes come here, and a lot of the Air Force brass will be here as well. And seeing what those people do, those airmen, those women who serve in the Air Force, all of those people, what they do on behalf of our nation as just a matter of their course, as their job. It's a great way to salute them and see what they do. And like we say, they bring the work truck in, and it's a heck of a truck.
Wow.
So, that's something we're looking forward to, and they'll be here throughout the entire week to make it a big part of the show this year.
We're talking with Dick Knapinski, and we're talking about the EAA AirVenture that's coming up starting here on July 20th. By the way, we are giving away tickets for EAA, so you definitely want to listen this week and potentially win. But, one of the things that's listed on here, there's a new vertical lift center. What is that?
Yeah, we have a lot of things that have wings on them and that fly. And, one group of people fly helicopters and rotorcraft. And they always say, it's a really cool event. There aren't many of us there. And so we said, well, we can fix that. So we're starting a vertical lift center. And it's for those people in the rotorcraft and helicopter community and the drone community as well. So you'll be seeing a lot of those coming forward. It's a whole new area on the grounds talking about that and some of the amazing things that rotorcraft do, some of the rescue work they perform, some of the firefighting work they perform, some of the things that we're seeing in the vertical takeoff and landing and electric aircraft are coming out of the rotorcraft area. What's the future of flight going to look like for that? You know, we all think of those little drones. There are some big drones out there starting to do work, whether it's in agricultural work, doing spraying on fields, whether it's power line review and inspection, those type of things. So we see those type of aircraft in there and really introducing people to what's out there in the rotorcraft community. And for some people in aviation, even, you know, what possibilities are there for careers and so forth out there. But it's fun to see those type of things come out, and it's another step in what's really been the growth. You know, every year we seem to go, okay, this is about as big as I can get, but we go, okay, there's something else out there that can be added to it.
That's a classic. No, that's so the AirVenture staff is like, wait a minute, hold my beer. That's classic Wisconsin.
Challenge.
It's almost like that, is saying, you know, okay, what else can we get in? And a lot of times people come to us and say, hey, have you guys ever thought about, and we go, you know, that's a great idea. We're making you chairman of that area. So then we got to volunteer too.
For sure.
And so it's something we're excited to add this year and bring in as part of AirVenture Week.
Yeah, the vertical stuff is that'd be very interesting. I'm an Army vet, so my experience with flying is riding in helicopters, and the amount of lift capability those things have is just unbelievable. You know, what the Chinooks can pick up and carry, and I think people would find that to be very interesting.
Yeah, glad you added that to it. And I don't know how you have room to add anything, because you have 1,600 forums and workshops, 10,000 airplanes, 2,500 show planes, 900 exhibitors, events, all the programs. I don't even know how you have space to add anything, but you do every single year. How do you do it?
Well, there's a lot of planning. You know, I always say there's a billion moving pieces that all have to come together and synchronize for this particular week. And most of the time they synchronize pretty well. Sometimes you have to, kind of hit the machine on the side a little bit to get it back into focus. But it's
the Fonzie adjustment.
Yeah, exactly. I call it percussive maintenance. It's worked out really well.
There you go.
And
I like it.
Yeah, but we got to give a lot of credit. We've got 6,000 volunteers that work this show.
Wow.
And there are parts that are completely run and organized by volunteers. For instance, Boeing Plaza, which is the main showcase plaza, where the C-17, the B-52, the C-5 will all be parked. That is completely run by volunteers. And we have staff liaisons, but they organize things. They park the airplanes. They have probably pushed, pulled, and tugged more types of aircraft than any group of people on Earth, because of all the different airplanes that have come through there during the course of the year. For instance, this year we have a unique airplane. It's called a Candy Bomber. It's a C-54 from back at right after World War II. It was a cargo airplane that flew in the Berlin airlift. And it was dubbed the Candy Bomber because one of the pilots, who has since passed away, Colonel Gail Halverson, as he flew into Tempelhof Airport in Berlin, would not only be bringing in cargo supplies for the residents of Soviet-surrounded Berlin, but also he would put candy in small parachutes and dropped it out the window as they landed to the kids. And so he became known as the Candy Bomber. And this C-54 is painted in his tribute. And a fun thing we'll be doing every day that airplane is here on Boeing Plaza at 10:30 and 1:30, they'll be dropping candy out the windows.
Nice.
How cool is that?
So bring the kids by and, and wait for the little parachute to come down and so forth. But that's one of those little things that take place at AirVenture that's a fun thing. But
that's so cool. It's interesting you bring up the kids. That's one of my favorite things to talk to you about. Youth get in ages 18 and under. There's free admission. And that's because one of the things that AirVenture does is they really, really focus on making sure the youth of today are involved and educated and experience everything there is to experience at this event. What do the kids have in store for them this year?
Oh, man, the kids, we've got so much for them. Of course, we've got the whole KidVenture area, and thank you for mentioning about, we invite the families because kids 18 and under are admitted free. And we have to give a shout-out to the Boeing company for that because they've supported it now for the past 5 years or so. And we have the whole KidVenture area where kids can fly flight simulators. They can build model rockets, middle balsa glider models. They can take apart an aircraft engine, put it back together, and they can do some basic riveting, some basic wiring, find out how airplanes go together. All of those things. We have the Aero Educate area where kids can find out about a free online resource where they can learn more about aviation. And that way, we've got College Park where kids, maybe a little bit older in high school, starting to explore that career. What's college going to look like? What's my next step going to look like? And if they have an interest in aviation, not only being a pilot, but maybe being a technician, a mechanic, maybe being a designer, an engineer, all the things involved in aviation that go beyond the cockpit, that is there for them too. And we've got more than 40 schools that are here, colleges, technical schools, and so forth, that have aviation programs. So those older kids can get a little bit of what's out there, what's the market for, and the market's very, very good right now in those type of skills. So all of those things are out there. So we invite the families to come out, and beyond all that, it's just a heck of a lot of fun.
Heck yeah.
Kids will be in, I'll tell you one other little story. On Wednesday at 1 o'clock, we have what's called the pedal plane parade. Now, we all have probably had those pedal cars when we were little.
Yeah.
You sit in them, pedal like mad, and go down the sidewalk. Well, there are kits and people who build pedal planes. They're small little airplanes, maybe 4 or 5 feet long, and they've got a wingspan of about 4 or 5 feet. And your youngster sits in them and pedals, and sometimes the propeller goes around, and off you go down the sidewalk or whatever. Well, we don't usually have a parade, have anywhere from 30 to 60 of these pedal planes and the kids in them. They take off from the shadow of the big airplanes on Boeing Plaza, and they go a couple hundred yards down one of our taxiways and then come back. And they get a group picture underneath the nose of, last year it was a 747.
Yeah,
so,
cool.
It's one of those fun things that they get to do that I'm sure for those kids is a memory that will live on forever.
That's awesome. The world's greatest aviation celebration up in Oshkosh. It begins July 20th through the 26th. There's obviously tickets still available. Again, kids under 18 are free, and this is a huge family event. You can get all of the information, of course, at EAA.org, and just Google AirVenture and look at all that information, and you will find that this is an absolutely cannot miss event. You have to go at some point in your life, and once you go once, you're going to want to go back every single year. Dick, thanks so much for joining us this morning. You guys have a great event, and I know you always do, and thank you so much for all the information.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for the time, and hope to see a lot of people from your area up here in the flight line this year.
I think you will.
Oh, you will, for sure, for sure.
Well, that'll be a lot of fun, so
Definitely,
can't miss it.
Definitely. Hey, you know what else is a lot of fun?
I think I know where you're going with this.
Talking to Renee Wilging.
It's been forever since she's been here.
I know, at least a couple weeks.
At least 2-3 weeks.
She joins us next. We're going to talk a little bit about storm damage insurance coverage, things like that. That's coming up next right here on Lake 96.1.
Life Matters continues on Lake 96.1.
Deborah, I'm ready to go.
I know you are. You're always ready to go.
Just push the button. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Renee Wilging joins us this morning, as I mentioned in the prior segment. Specific reasons why you're joining us, because you are the owner of Henricks Wilging Insurance Company, and you are one of the folks that probably has had more phone calls in the last week or so than anybody on the planet right now.
Yeah,
so first of all, thank you for coming, because I know it just now kind of hits that you're tired, and
it's just over a week.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah.
So one of the things that we wanted to talk about was, you see a lot of things. Obviously, we talked at the beginning of the show about the severity of this storm and some other things with regard to the community coming together and helping each other and things like that.
Right.
So, but in the interim, there's also this, people saying, oh, well, insurance should cover this and insurance should cover that. And there was a lot about this storm that insurance does not cover.
Well, yeah.
And so we
Yeah.
were hoping that you could, clarify some of that, because some people just had trees down.
Right.
Some people had trees wrapped in the power lines that led to their homes.
Right.
Some people had trees in their homes.
Yeah.
So
Trees in your home is covered.
is it good?
That one's covered.
Okay.
Yeah. When it's in your home,
When it falls on your house.
On your house.
It is covered.
it is covered.
Okay.
Yeah, when it falls
Okay.
on your house. I guarantee you, I don't think there's a policy out there that does not cover that. So
Okay.
I'm just going to throw that one out there.
Excellent.
Yeah, so-
because we don't want to panic, right? Because
No.
but it is going to take some time, and people need help in the interim. And so, but kind of clarify all of this for
So
us.
there's so many different things that happen in these kind of losses, So first thing are the trees. That's like the number one claim around here are trees.
Mm-hmm.
So first, it doesn't matter who owns the tree.
Okay.
It matters who owns the property that was damaged by the tree.
Okay.
So let's start with that. Your neighbor's tree falls on your hot tub. Your policy is responsible, not the owner of the trees.
Okay.
Okay. So just remember that. That's just the way it works.
Okay.
Act of God is where that comes into play. I mean, I always throw this scenario out: if your boat gets lifted up by a tornado and it drops a mile away, are you, as the owner of the boat, responsible for that house it fell on? Absolutely not. Tree falls into that same category. So if
Okay.
it falls on your property, you're responsible.
So is this a different scenario than if the neighbor hasn't been keeping that tree the way it needs to when it falls?
So then it can be complicated. So if you have had a long correspondence and you've talked to your community and said, hey, I've been telling him he's got this dead tree that's been hanging over my property forever, you actually do have the right to cut that part of the tree down.
Okay.
You know what I mean? To trim it. But here's the deal. If there's some kind of a log that you've been telling this person they needed to take care of a dead tree or a hazardous tree for a long period of time, yes, then totally it could fall on the liability of that homeowner's policy. That doesn't happen too often, though.
Right.
I mean, people don't confront each other like that. I
Right.
mean, they'll do it online, but they sure as heck won't do it in person.
Right.
So a lot of that going around too. That was very frustrating for me. But yeah, so you do see that happen, and we do get claims from that. That
Okay.
hey, you're responsible for maintaining your property, and
But in this case, regardless of the condition of the tree,
pretty much
you're
it's-
going to be covered.
Yeah, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to, if the tree falls on property, so property can be as simple as a picnic table.
Fence.
It can be a fence.
Right.
If it falls on, then it damaged property, so then to remove the tree is covered.
Okay.
Okay, here's our big problem. What's been going on in the past 5 years? We now have very large wind and hail deductibles on most homeowners' policies. They either are double or they're going to 1% or 2%. So we can have some pretty large deductibles. So my conversations with a lot of people first is, where's the damage? Okay, a tree took out a section of your fence. I'm going to look up your wind and hail deductible, and I'm probably going to tell you you're not going to be putting in a claim. Because
Right.
your wind and hail deductible is at minimum $1,000.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, you can fix it
minimum.
cheaper than that.
That normally we're looking at 3,500 plus. So minimum. So that's what you're looking at. You're going to be able to repair that panel and get the tree off under that deductible. So
Okay.
you're not going to be putting in a claim. So there was a lot of conversations about that. If the tree just falls, like we had, Lake Como really got hit really bad.
Yes.
Lots of trees down, not necessarily on any property, just on your land, right?
Right.
Not covered.
Yeah, just clean it up.
You,
But we're talking
thousands and thousands
Oh, yeah.
and thousands of
I
dollars.
went through there.
We have a guy, right? Like, we have a friend of ours that had 26 trees
Yeah,
down.
it was
Big trees. They have a huge property, but
But that's a
20
lot of trees.
That is
Well,
tens of thousands of dollars.
So-
My
to fix
father's
that.
shop, we had several very tall pine trees that are no longer there.
Right.
Yeah, they just
so yeah,
come down and-
believe me, we're in the devastation.
well,
Yeah.
and then the uprooting. I mean, normally branches fall off and a
Right.
pine tree falls off. Okay, cleanup for that is pretty easy. You have a 200-year-old oak tree that uprooted.
Right.
That is, you can't just grab your little Ryobi chainsaw and cut that thing apart.
With a root base that's 10 feet in diameter.
You
it
just
ripped everything out with it.
Have to,
no problem. 20 minutes.
20 minutes, Tom could do it, yeah.
Tom did do it. Actually, I'll tell you that story.
He did a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it does get really expensive. So you know how I always say, people that go door to door, these contractors that go door to door, stay away from them. The tree guys are different. Okay, so here's the difference. They've done a job in the neighborhood. They got all their equipment there.
Right.
They're going to go door to door because they got their equipment there.
Right.
They're local guys. They're so. I would say for those guys, definitely grab them. You're probably going to get a deal because they don't have to bag everything up and get it all over there. It's already there. It's already in your neighborhood.
Right.
So they're just trying to use their time wisely, right? I was finding that you only had a very small few tree people that were really trying to gouge.
Okay.
I saw more like I can clean up these 3 trees for $900.
Right.
The big huge trees, I'm sorry, those are that takes a lot of manpower, special equipment, special hoists. It's gonna be an issue. So just know that that's gonna cost you some money. But people don't have that extra money.
No.
So I think we're gonna see a lot of trees just kind of stacked up and does somebody need firewood? We're going to see posts on Facebook saying, hey, somebody take it away, free firewood.
Right, right.
So,
and the other thing is that the city/county/town can only do so much.
Right.
I know that they are setting up drop-off sites and things like that,
but they have to be so much in diameter because they can't haul these,
and they'll have no choice.
Right.
But to go, like you said, go around and with a chipper just through the neighborhood, and they will have no choice. But I mean, this is going to take a while to clean this up. A very long time to clean this up.
I think the other thing, we did have damage to property, obviously. Like I had somebody, they just moved into their dream home they built, $1 million home.
Oh no!
They just moved into it, and a tree right through the roof. And then, they were going to get ready to start a family, and this was just going to be this, great thing. And I don't think that house will ever be the same. I don't care if you repair that roof and you redo the whole thing. I would be like, well, this really sucks. I had my perfect brand new home that we built the way we wanted to do it. We lived in a cottage for the first 10 years of our marriage, so we could build this home.
Right.
And
you don't know the structural damage.
I don't. Yeah.
From the impact of that tree. It's like that pole barn up in Como.
Yeah.
That whole thing may have to come down.
Right.
It only looks like half of it was damaged, but how much of that energy traveled through the rest of that structure?
Right. The structural integrity of that building is not going to be what it was. And I think we had this. The other big question I had was staying in a hotel. So your insurance policy has something on it that's called loss of use.
Okay.
So they will pay for hotels and places to stay, if you cannot live in your home.
If you can find one around here in the summer.
Well, that was another one of the problems. But here's the deal: just because you lost power, it's not triggering the insurance policy.
No, it has to be unlivable.
It has to be unlivable.
Right.
The hole in your roof.
Right.
That is causing.
Everybody lost power.
Yeah, and everybody lost power. And I had quite a few claims on Monday asking me where to send their hotel receipts to because they had family in town because 4th of July. This was 3rd of July, and they're like, so we all had to go to the hotel. So I feel that I should have to pay for everybody's hotel. I'm like, good to feel that way, but the insurance company is not going to feel the same way. Because you just lost power.
Right.
And if you have a medical condition that, you need power on at all times, oxygen, whatever, it's still not going to trigger because it's going to be under the deductible.
Oh,
You know what I mean? We're still
True.
looking at deductible issues. So I just think it's smart to be, if you're in that kind of situation, then you should have either a portable generator available, which you leave outside.
Exactly.
Or let's remember to put those outside. Let's not put those in the middle of your living room.
Yeah, there's a point where you have to take care of yourself.
Right.
You can't rely on everybody else to bail you out.
Right.
But let's go back for a second and talk about the generators staying
in the house.
Outside
Please
of
remember to do
your
that.
home.
They don't.
Tom, you're a mechanic. Explain to people why they need to do that.
It's a combustible
Carbon
engine.
dioxide.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Not only do you have the potential of fuel leaking inside your house, and the fumes will hurt you, but you got that exhaust, and that'll kill you.
It'll kill
will
you.
kill you.
Yeah.
And especially if you're keeping your windows shut and everything like that, and you're trying to keep the air conditioning on, now you're all trapped.
Right.
You're trapped
And
with it.
Most
Well, you
people
can't
aren't just
right.
trying to keep their fridge running.
Right.
They want the AC running
Right.
too.
Right.
You know, so yeah,
Thank God
everything's
the
gonna be locked
temperature
up.
came down. You know,
Yeah, it
I mean,
did.
you got to think
A little bit.
this, you know, well, compared to it was like even Tuesday and Wednesday.
for sure.
You know, but when Friday hit and the storm hit, we got down into the 80s, which it wasn't crazy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
there were some blessings in a horribly tragic weekend.
No, what about cars?
Cars are covered as comprehensive loss. So if the
Is that your
trees
car insurance or your homeowner's insurance?
Nope,
Okay.
car insurance.
Okay.
So just remember, a lot of people think, well, the tree fell through the garage and my car was in the garage. Well, you got your homeowner's insurance.
I feel like it's a
and you
little bit of
have-
both, yeah.
It's both. Here's the
Double
deal.
dipping.
If you have like a true package, like West Bend does them, Acuity does them, you know, they have some true packages. There's only one deductible.
Oh.
Yeah. So they take the largest deductible. So you don't get, like, so if you had several cars get hit by hail or windstorm or
Right.
whatever, there's only one deductible that comes into play. So those true packages will do that for you. So that's one issue, that if you have your home with one carrier and your auto with another carrier, you're going to have a deductible for each car and you're going to have a deductible for your home. So you kind of get deductibled out on a claim on something like that.
Can I? Okay. If that right there is not the number one reason to have an insurance agent,
100%.
I don't know what is. Because do you think about that? You have all this damage. Okay, you're calling this company.
This 800
You're
number.
calling that company. You're never getting the same
And they're
person.
not working together.
They do not care. They're like, okay, you're one of 700 people that has called me in the last 30 minutes.
Right.
I mean, you have to have an agent.
I just don't know how people, I mean, because obviously businesses are affected too. And that whole time element thing about power down, that's different in the businesses.
Well, and we're gonna get to that in a second. Yeah.
But, you know, it's, if you went online to buy your homeowner's policy and did it yourself, I only had 2 calls on this where I didn't write them, but they wanted advice. And no problem, I'll give you advice. And they sent over a copy of the deck page, and I'm like, why is your premium only $700 for a $400,000 home?
No kidding.
And I'm looking at it, so I'm reading through it. I mean, they got ACV on everything, so there's no replacement cost anywhere. They've got a $15,000 deductible. They were just looking to try and get
They were just trying to get the mortgage.
Yeah, the PMI, keeping their PMI within reason, that, you know, so they needed to keep their insurance needed to be, the premium needed to be X in order for them to get the mortgage when they bought the house. So they went online and did it themselves. And that was the 2 people that I was
can't believe
with.
that mortgage companies allow you to do that crap.
They don't care as long as there's
Because-
coverage for the dwelling of whatever the loan amount is. So you have a $400,000 home, but you have a $270,000 mortgage. They don't care if it's, you know, a $10,000
still gotta
deductible.
pay-
The math
yeah.
works for them. What they care about is what your expenses are versus your income.
Yeah, can you make your payments?
So that's
Not about the success, it's about the money.
Right. So now they're in a financial situation, and I think, you know, people also don't realize that if your structure is damaged, that check is going to be made payable from the insurance company to you and your mortgage company.
Right.
Because it's structurally affected your building, which affects the more, you know, some of them are going to have to be signed off by your mortgage company.
Right.
So
how do you even get that done?
Well, what happens is we see that you call your mortgage company. If
Okay.
you have like the Rocket Mortgage or all the internet ones, what we've seen is you can call them and they will actually set up an escrow account that you can deposit that money into, and they will allow you to pull it out to pay for the damages.
Okay.
Because you can't like run to your neighborhood credit union and have them sign the back of it and put it up. But
Right.
but the mortgagee needs to make sure that the damage is repaired as
Right.
well.
Right.
Because you could just take the money and run, not repair it, and not pay your mortgage again. And now, you know, the mortgagee doesn't really want to own a home.
Right.
And they owned a lot of them in 2009.
Yeah.
They've kind of learned their lesson
They
from
learned
all
their
that,
lesson there.
right?
Right.
So just so many different
scenarios.
And
Yeah.
we had injuries, obviously. Buddies coming over to use the chainsaw and they get hurt on your promise. Is that
Yeah. Who
covered?
covers that?
Your homeowners.
Okay.
If your buddy's doing it, you know, it's not, you know, but if you're hiring somebody, you make sure that they have insurance, because if they fall off your roof or get hurt and they don't have insurance, you could be liable for that.
Right.
You know,
we're talking with Renee Wilging with Henricks Wilging Insurance Company. We're talking about this storm damage and maybe hopefully clarifying a few things about what's covered, what's not covered. So there's some GoFundMe accounts started to benefit some of the people that had damages to their home and things like that. And so, it's those deductibles.
The deductibles.
That kind of thing
and
will
the
help.
ACV now, the depreciated value is being paid out, especially for roofs. And really huge change in the insurance industry in the last 5 years, but it's pretty much most of the companies are doing a depreciated value on roofs.
Right.
And high deductibles.
Although I think the intent of the GoFundMes are to cover things that you're going to need, immediately. Like, let's talk for a second about food.
Right.
And, some of the, things in your freezer, things like that. Because some of those folks in Como went for 3-4 days.
Well, the restaurants
5 days.
down there lost all their product.
Right. So, but I want to talk about businesses separately, because there's a couple of things about businesses.
Works differently than the homeowners.
Right.
Yeah.
So how does the homeowner, like the content, all of that, like I said, food and things like that.
Do an inventory.
What do they do? What do insurance companies do for those immediate needs? Can they cut you a check for some of that, or how does that work?
They give out prepaid cards.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have a little stack at the office.
Okay.
From different companies, and I can go and they're little $500 ones. But I did make some trips into Como.
Yeah.
That night, and I have to tell you, I know you want to go and look and see the damage. Please don't do that, because right now, in the first 48 hours, we don't need lookers.
Right.
And I liked that by the second day, by Saturday, a little bit later, you had to show ID.
Well,
of where
actually,
you're going. And I appreciated that.
You did once on Friday night. Once they were able to assess,
right?
You had to show ID Friday evening.
Yeah, I had to show my credentials in order to get in, and I thought that was good. But I did see a lot of vans full of people just gawking.
Listen, and let me tell you, let me just say my stop about that. No, I don't get it, okay? Because we had power lines down.
Right.
We had people who had just lost everything.
Right.
We had, and you want to go and gawk at that crap? Like,
if you're going to get out and help.
You weren't even allowed to help at that point because it was dark outside.
That was Friday
night.
So
but I drove through. Okay, so here, let me tell you what my story was. I got up Friday morning and drove to Indianapolis because we were supposed to be at an event at my in-laws' house.
Right.
I got down there. I was down there for exactly 23 minutes and had to turn around and drive back because we were also affected.
Right.
Our tower property was bullseye hit for this. And so, so I had to get back. Plus, I have communications on that tower property for both the county, the MABUS, the Sheriff's Department, Lake Geneva.
Yeah, they don't get radio stations are different because you are emergency.
Exactly. And so, but I also have Alliance emergency communications on my tower. So we had generators up there running because there was no power.
Right.
And I was afraid that there was enough damage that we weren't, if we were going to be out of power for a significant amount of time, we were going to have to get a fuel truck up there. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
To refuel the generators. Okay.
Right.
So I call Tom and I'm like, dude, I turned around. I'm on my way. We're going to have to go to the tower. One of the sheriff's deputies did park at the bottom of our hill and walk it during the day real quick just to show me exactly what I was in for when I got back. And by the way, I hope that my insurance does not track how fast I went driving home.
Yeah, we did. I did see that.
Okay.
Yeah. When you texted me, I was tracking her. I'm like, she just really needs to slow down.
I wasn't all that impressed.
You weren't?
No, she could have gone
You were
faster.
going pretty fast, too. I was tracking you as well.
Yeah. So anyway, I hightailed it back. But so we knew what we were dealing with. And then when I got into town, it was just it was right at dusk.
Yeah.
And Tom and his wife, Amy, met me over there. And we walked up and we checked everything out. Well, we climbed up.
Yeah, we crawled and climbed up.
We crawled and climbed up because it was impassable.
Right.
And so luckily our building, the tower, the guy wires, all of that kind of stuff, none of that was damaged that we can tell.
Right.
We've done a really good inspection of it now and it's fine. But, I was afraid that I had to get up there because of all of those things that I'm responsible for.
Not just the radio
for other
station,
people.
right,
Yeah, radio
not just
station.
radio-
Well, we were out of power here at the office, at the studio. So I couldn't broadcast anyway.
Right.
So what, the radio station was the furthest thing from my mind.
We need the emergency, especially
like,
something
holy
this
crap.
severe. This severe.
The
Yeah.
tower, the guide wires and everything for the tower, that was a huge concern.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
If those things were compromised, is the tower going to stay
Yeah,
up?
the
Right.
tower can fall.
Oh, 100% it could. Yeah.
Even
we
one of
had to
them
get
is-
up
Yeah.
there. And,
Yeah. So we did, and we went up there, and Tom was able to go around in the dark and kind of check things, preliminarily
needs a
that
Tom.
night.
I
They
work
do.
well in the dark.
Yeah,
Man.
everybody needs a Tom.
Everybody needs a Tom.
Yeah.
And then, let me tell you something. Everybody needs an Amy.
Amy, too. I know.
And
I know.
so then we met the
good,
next
yeah.
morning. So we got our, together, and we met the next morning. And between Tom and Amy and one of the sheriff's deputies, Todd Newman, by the way.
Good job, Todd.
Yeah, he came between
Showed up on
the
his
four
own.
of us. Showed up
Yeah.
on his
That was
own.
big.
Yeah.
And
Because he realized, too, how important
is
that
in
was.
charge of the communication.
Oh,
So
okay,
the
yeah.
tower that's up there, he's responsible for that. And so, it was like he said, we're all in this together, Nancy, and grabbed a chainsaw. Him and Tom worked on some big stuff. Me and Amy worked on some other stuff. And let me tell you something, Tom and Amy and chainsaws, these people are professional chainsawers.
Yeah.
Okay. We cleaned it up. We thought we were going to have somebody come in with a bigger crew and a skid
Right.
steer. Tom brought a quad. We got all the rest of the stuff. And, we've had like 5 chainsaws.
Chains and drag-
chains and oil and all kinds of stuff and straps. And we got everything. We got the road cleared. I have an enormous amount of work up there still to do.
Right.
But it is passable now. So, and we ended up, everything was fine because
Right.
the power did come
Right,
back
it did
on. And
come
I
back
do
on. Yep.
believe that because of the other things that were on that property,
Right.
that property probably ended up at pretty high on the list of trying to get power
100%
restored.
because we knew we needed to have, and there were more
Right.
storms coming. They
Exactly.
never hit real
Right.
bad like we thought we were, but that was a huge concern.
Saturday night we were worried.
Yeah, we
Oh,
thought
yeah.
for sure we were going to have another bout come
We were
through,
supposed
and
to
I'm
get
like,
hit again.
tarp. Do you need some
Right.
tarps? What do you need me to bring out to you? You know,
Right.
and we'll save our receipts, take pictures, because there was something on Facebook where they said, well, don't you do any repairs until your insurance company comes out. I'm like, absolutely not.
Right.
You protect your property. Take
Right.
pictures, keep
Well,
receipts.
our big
and,
concern was the fuel because
Yeah.
we were down, but we had to keep the county's tower down.
Right.
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 So, and if the power wouldn't have came back on, they would have needed fuel.
Yeah.
Right.
For the generator.
Just the
So, and we
generators
got it
keep it
open
going.
for them.
And then so again, the tower, my tower itself was running because it too is powered by the generator.
Right.
One of the generators that's up there. But here at the station, we had no power
Right.
and had no idea when it was going to come back. So this
And they were
is
saying 4 days. I mean, in the beginning, they were saying it could have up to 4 days.
Yeah, and so, but again, we are in this area where there's a lot of, for instance, Steinbrinks.
Right.
Okay, Steinbrinks was on the verge of a tens of thousands of dollar
Yeah,
loss.
yeah.
And the power it came back on.
back on in time,
And so, yes, it came back on in time. And so, but so business related.
Yeah.
How does that affect
So
those kind of businesses,
time element.
restaurants, all of it?
It's a time element portion of your policy. And again, people that go on to these online things to buy their insurance, I don't know how, especially business insurance, how
Right.
you can figure all this stuff out. But there is a
how
time
you can have
element.
confidence in it.
Yeah, and a time element, a lot of them, if you're on a regular business owner's policy, it's going to be actual loss sustained. So,
Okay.
so why there's business interruption, it'll pay for lost wages, to
Okay.
keep your employees.
Right.
We got to keep them happy, so let's keep them paid.
Been there,
even though
done that.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've got to do that. Time element as far as spoilage.
Okay.
So we'll have spoilage issues. Just not being up and running and the loss of income.
Right.
Because you can't do your retail sales, or you have to any additional expenses you may incur because you're down. Now it works different than you don't have to have property damage. You can have a power outage for that to trigger.
Okay.
Because then it can affect your doors being open.
Right.
Not.
Well, then you
Yeah.
kind of do have property damage because you're not selling. You're not
The property
making
that you
sales.
have.
You're not selling
Yeah.
your property. Yeah.
Right.
Your inventory.
It's
Food rotting,
income loss.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a loss of income, which is considered part of the property part of the policy.
Okay.
And they don't have deductibles; they have waiting periods. So when you first take it out, can you go, 24 hours? Can
Right.
you go 1 week? Can you go 30 days? Can you go? So how long? And it depends on the business you have.
Absolutely.
Some business could have a 30-day waiting period before it kicks in, because they really it doesn't matter so much.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But like a retail or something like that, you have 24 or 48 hours. You know, that's normally what you're looking at, and it kicks in right
Like the
away.
bars and restaurants.
Right. Yeah.
Okay,
Those
you're talking
normally,
about food spoilage. You're actually also talking about if those kegs of beer they're pumping beer out of like those you can't use either. Like
usually we see
all of
24 or 48
Yeah.
hours for those because you can't sell contaminated food.
Nope.
You know what I mean? So you always have to caution to, like, could it be contaminated? It's got to be dumped. And then you have to inventory it. So kudos to the businesses, that, especially in the Como area, that stayed open to just feed people.
Right.
You know, just out of the goodness of their heart. I mean, they lost they lost so much. And all they thought about was the community. So
Right.
kudos to those just right there on Lake Como there that just really are still, I think, still helping.
Of course.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, they'll be helping.
Yeah.
They'll be helping.
Yeah,
you know?
they'll probably for the rest of the month you're going
Well,
to
and
see the community participate in
The
that.
volunteers and the volunteer businesses also. I
Yeah.
mean, they really stepped up. I talked to Jamie Chamberlain. He owns Twigs and Branches.
Yeah.
And he was working throughout the night on Friday just trying to open roads up.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, they weren't even concerned about power lines or anything. Let's just get it open
Get the
so we
roads
can get
open.
stuff through.
And the city was trying to open as much as they could.
He lined up to help us.
Right.
We just started earlier than he could make it.
Right.
And we were probably halfway, 3/4 of the way up
Right.
the road. I call him and go, "We got this. Go do whatever
Right.
you got to do."
Go help
Yeah.
somebody
Yeah.
that needs
People
it.
Which
Yeah.
he
most
was
people
stacking
really
up.
good, but there were a lot of impatient people too. Like I always get my phone blowed up and saying, "It's been 20 minutes and I cannot find a tree person." And I'm like, "Okay,
Just- first of all, just go out and listen for the chainsaw.
Call me at a week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because they're slammed.
That's why I'm telling you need to go up there and get a tarp because there is no guarantee that somebody's going to be able to. They might be able to get that tree off your roof.
But they're not going to close it up.
They're not going to close it up. They're, you know,
We
I
were
think,
extremely lucky that he answered my call.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I mean, they were
Because he wasn't
slammed.
answering. He was so busy.
And you know that is really frustrating that people don't, you know, that they don't remember or that they just don't know that if you have the ability to prevent further damage
Protect your
and you're
property.
just standing in your yard complaining that the tree guy hasn't shown up yet
Yeah.
and you're not protecting that
Yep.
further damage, you know what that does? That ticks off your insurance company.
Yeah, they
like,
get a little miffed up. Yeah.
Right. Like you just let another storm come through and rain in your house when you're standing there in the middle of the yard with a tarp. Like there,
If it
it's
comes
just
back
like
to back,
you
Total
said.
failure to act.
They get it if they come back to back, it's going to happen. You know what I mean? Because you can only
Yeah, but
get some.
still,
But if it's 3 days later and you still have a gaping hole in the middle of
Come
your living room,
on.
You got to take care of yourself.
call a board up company. It's covered. It's
Right.
going to go towards your deductible.
Call
Right.
a neighbor.
Yeah,
Call a family member.
Somebody go
Right.
to home, get some plywood. I mean, I heard that like Lowe's and Home Depot got emergency shipments of generators out
Right.
in time, and
Yep.
I mean, I kudos to them to run to other stores or other stores ship them down so that there
Right.
would be help.
Right.
You know, some of the big, I'm sure the smaller, you know, like Ace Hardwares and stuff like that did the same thing. They
course.
reached out to their other
Suppliers,
people, yeah,
right.
and like, hey, we need them now.
I totally understand the struggles. I've had to cut my way out of our house a few times.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I get
just
it.
where we live and the
Right.
trees fall.
Right.
But if you can't help yourself even a little bit, I mean,
Yeah, I only
everybody
had, I
should
only
be
had a
able
couple
to
of
take
them.
care of themselves or have people available to help
Right.
you.
Right. And the thing is, too, is that you also you have to be very aware of your neighbors. The little
Yep.
old lady that's living in the house 2 doors
Check
down.
on them.
Check on them.
Yep.
And when you see somebody that is volunteering, you know, we had the Bigfoot boys football team, Bigfoot high school football team came in and helped cut down trees. The JCs have been crawling all over this situation
Right.
like crazy, helping
Right.
out.
Bring 'em
Grab
water.
somebody on your neighbor's behalf.
Right.
Like you can't just like everybody is in this together. But I will say this. As usual, these communities
Rocked.
absolutely rocked.
Yeah.
And there is, you know, if you
Rocked.
have anything at all to complain about, you complain to Mother Nature.
Yeah.
Because your friends, your neighbors, your fellow business owners, complete strangers came in and moved mountains to make sure that you were okay.
That you were okay, and
Right.
they really did. I mean, we, you know, every summer we usually have a good windstorm come through or some sewer backup water damage, and you know, I always talk about how gross that is. But this was enormous. I mean, I've been
Yeah.
doing this 40 years, and this was probably the biggest like wind damage covering an area that I've ever seen, besides the tragedies that happened.
Right.
That I think that made some urgency in people's, like, people were a little bit more compassionate.
Right.
Because
I hope so.
Because we had
Well,
just such a tragedy type
from
of a
Sharon to Racine in
Right.
what, 15 minutes?
Kenosha got it. I mean, it was
the speed that thing traveled and the devastation that it created.
and there was no way to prepare for it. It was,
No.
it's
Nobody
like
knew it was coming.
We knew a thunderstorm was coming. And I think that's another thing. People say, well, no tornado warnings. Well, they found out it wasn't a tornado, but
It's
we
not.
have to be afraid of thunderstorms. When we get those severe thunderstorm warnings, we have to, like, take heed. Not that you could have protected your property,
Listen,
but just go
I'm
to the
gonna tell
basement
you,
and protect your body.
As
Right.
a person responsible
Right.
for putting those EAS messages out,
Right.
we did not get
You didn't get one this
it.
time. I know.
We got it during the storm.
Right.
We pushed it out.
But I think people should
this
respect
was
these storms.
But here's the other thing. This was not a normal event.
No.
And so,
Not at all.
like all the people that were complaining about, well, they didn't get off the lake and they didn't do this
Oh,
and
no,
they
that
didn't
was
do that.
bologna sausage.
Listen,
Yeah. No.
you
there was no time
check
to
yourself.
react.
There was
okay?
no time to
Even
react.
the weather expert authorities said there was not time.
No.
Everybody did their best, okay?
Even if you were
So-
next to a pier, you couldn't get to the pier.
Nope.
Because you couldn't get to the pier.
Nope.
The swells were just ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
To think that there was any irresponsibility of anybody.
There
who
was
wasn't-
not.
There was none.
This was a complete fluke.
It was, but now I'm afraid of severe thunderstorms. I'm going to be more cautious with them. I'm going to go to the basement. Normally, I run outside to go look for things.
Right.
But I think I'm not going to go outside and look for things
I
because trees
wasn't-
falling.
Listen, I think
wasn't
Amy
overly
even went
excited
inside,
about
and
this
she
thing.
never goes
I
inside
never
during a
go
storm.
inside for
I
a
was
storm.
on my way home when I saw the black coming in. I went, well, I'm not going to stop for gas. I'm just going to get home.
Yeah.
That was me
And I
too.
put the
did
truck
same
away and
thing.
picked a couple things up, went in the house, and
My
you know,
grandson,
we had rain. We didn't have much
We
up
didn't
by
have-
us.
yeah.
my
well, I'm right by you, so
grandson
yeah.
was at home watching my dogs, right? Because I was supposed to be. I mean,
Right.
I was going to go down
You were
there,
supposed to be in Indiana.
go to the thing, and then get up right on Saturday morning, come right back home, right? And so he was spending the night at my house with the dogs, and I'm on the phone. My phone is blowing up. I'm in the car. I'm already coming back north, and I'm like, nope, it's okay. I'm headed home. I have to handle this myself. Like I've got the like you guys
Right.
just keep me posted. I am on I-65. I'm coming home, and I said, I guess I should call and check on Logan. And then I get a text, and this text says, "Are you saving these marshmallows for anything?" And I'm like, "I think Logan's okay.
Yeah.
he's looking for this. He's going to make s'mores now,
Well,
right?
you
Like,
probably
so
got
he's
the
fine.
only structure that would stay. Like, your
Well,
home
I
is
do.
like,
Yeah,
like
it wasn't going
stone.
anywhere.
It's like
Yeah.
not just a brick house. It is.
He
a
was
stone
kind
house.
of like, oh, is it bad outside? I was like, oh my God, dude. Just yes.
The Elkhorn area, pretty much a mile
rain.
north of Como.
right.
We all got really, really lucky. They were
Yeah.
like at the center
They
of
got
it.
it. It was like an epicenter.
And
Yeah.
it went,
Yeah.
the devastation, like on Springfield Road to all the farms out
Yeah.
there. My uncle's not far north of Springfield Road. He had some branches down.
Right.
Yeah.
He had no damage.
We had
He
nothing
No.
at my
We
house. Yeah.
did-
No, I
My
crossed the hill
tomato
and was
plants
like,
got
wow.
smushed.
Yeah, mine were.
You know, my tomato plants, the wires kind of bent over, and
Yeah.
that was about it. I was kind of mad I lost my tomatoes, but that was it.
I was
Yeah.
a
And
little
that's-
deflated with the rainfall. I really was. I
He
mean,
needs
for
rain.
me, my pond needs to be
He
filled
needs
up.
rain
it
all
needs
the
to be
time.
filled. We need rain.
We're
Yeah.
talking with Renee Wilging at Henricks Wilging Insurance Company. We're kind of trying to clear some stuff up with this storm damage and things like that. And, and I'll say again, though, that, this community is absolutely incredible. Nobody blinked, right?
No.
And,
No, just went to work.
Yeah. Everybody just did everything that they
100%.
could. But again, I'll go back to, I saw a particular comment on Facebook where somebody said somebody should complain that the sheriff's department doesn't follow the Constitution and people are free to roam about wherever they want to. It's
No,
a
you're
freedom.
not.
You're
And,
getting in the way, and you're causing a dangerous
Yeah,
situation.
Like,
their job
she-
is to keep us safe, and that's what they did.
This person got completely chastised, and I
Good.
said, you know what? It doesn't.
Yes, they
Our
should've.
authorities are always damned if they do and damned if
Right,
they don't.
100%.
Because if it's your house and the authorities are saying, oh, sure, go ahead and sightsee in here, and then something gets ripped off.
Right.
Oh, well, now they're not protecting you. So you know what? No, you are not, and
Yeah.
don't ever, even today, don't go sightseeing through these neighborhoods.
No, no.
Because the other thing is that you're just like re-victimizing the victims.
Right.
Okay. Now they're a victim of
Being stared
idiots
at.
that just want to be, like you said, take pictures and clickbait and all this other crap. And like, you have no part of this. Just
No.
go away. Unless you're
Plus-
delivering
plus
water or
they're
food.
putting the people, the first responders in danger because they could get hurt now because
Yeah, right.
they're going through a dangerous situation. So now we're pulling our resources away from where they were intended to
Right.
be because now they have to go help you.
Because you got screwed up.
Because
Right.
you decide to bring your butt into this,
Right.
And when
this
did
area.
somebody else's devastation become your entertainment?
Right.
It's always
That's
been that
what
way
irritates
then.
me.
Yep.
But, like car accidents.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
believe me,
always going
Gapers.
so
I don't
slow
know how
through
many
'em.
hundreds of car accidents I was
Yeah.
at that I wanted to just start arresting people.
Are you
Rocky.
allowed
You
to
know-
like flip people off or say anything when you're
Probably the cop.
No?
Probably not the
Only
cops.
inside your head.
Yeah.
See, this reason number
It's all private in
7,248.
there.
I would
Yeah.
never be able to do that job.
Yeah.
Well, that's why a lot of times, not to get off topic, but that's a lot of times officers are really short with you or even yelling at you because of what you're doing in an area they have shut down.
Right.
If I'm standing out in the middle of the road and it's raining and I got flares out and I'm out there with a flashlight telling you to stop, there's a reason for it. Don't
Right.
ask me if you can go through.
Right.
The answer is no.
No,
The
I
road's
just
shut
said-
down. That's what the flares are for.
You can't get through.
Turn around and go away.
Yeah.
Tom just generally stops his car and throws flares
I
out
think
and
you
starts
should do
yelling
that
at
just
people.
Well, I
do
don't
it.
do it anymore. It got too expensive for the apartment.
Can I do it?
Can we get you flares and just do it and then we'll
No, me
Yeah,
and Renee are
no.
just
and we'll
gonna do
record
it.
it. We'll just sit.
That would
Right.
get us
sit and
arrested.
record.
Ah!
Oh,
Yeah.
it'd be fun.
They don't let
You
us do
can't-
anything
Amy would have
anymore.
fun with that, too.
Control traffic if you're not an officer. Period.
Jesus. What the heck?
You were.
Renee.
I were.
You were an officer.
Keyword is were.
You were.
So as we wrap up here and people move forward, what like tips of advice? What do you
Probably call your agent now and just. I mean, even if you weren't affected.
I mean, it's a week later, so
Yeah, but it would be a good time to look at your policy. If you don't understand some of this stuff, now's the time to have a conversation with your agent and say, how would my company take care of me in the case of
Okay.
what is my wind and hail deductible?
What am I lacking? Right.
Is my roof at replacement cost, or is it at ACV, or are we on a scale, like a scheduled scale? And that's what we're seeing. So, if you have a 30-year-old roof, don't expect you're going to get replacement costs on it.
No.
There's only a few companies out there that still do replacement costs no matter what.
Can you pay extra for replacement costs on things?
No, it depends
Yeah,
on
when
the
you
age of the
replace
roof.
it.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
depends on the age of the roof. So if it's under 10 years and it's a company that normally does depreciated value on it, which a 10-year roof is not going to depreciate all that much, right? So,
right.
but we still have these high wind and hail deductibles. Some companies, not every company, you can actually buy up and buy replacement costs. But once you hit like the 15-year mark, that endorsement goes bye-bye anyway.
Okay.
So when you redo your roof, let your insurance company know
1
right
million-
away that you
get a
redid
home
your
house
roof.
generator. Let us know. There's a credit on your policy for that.
Okay.
It's not ginormous, but there is a credit on
Really?
your policy. Yeah. Because it prevents spoilage, it prevents mold, it prevents,
Right.
Insurance companies love them, because you're protecting your
I'll be
property.
making that call.
Yeah, so they,
I bet you're going to call Renee.
same with like
got a home generator.
cameras. Like you have like the Ring cameras and all that
Right?
kind of
For security.
let your company know
Right.
know that. I mean, granted, when the power is out, they're not working, which was one of the reasons we had some looting because
Mm-hmm.
these looters knew that the cameras, all these little Ring cameras, were off.
Yeah.
So, but on a normal situation, it does prevent. People, your house being burglarized or whatever, and so insurance companies need to know that you don't always have to have the ADT central alarm system
Right.
where they call, hey, Mrs. Wilging, are you okay? And we don't.
Lots of
home-
that doesn't even happen
the
anymore
bigger
because of
homes
these
you
Ring
have to
doorbells.
have
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
Like my big, 2 million plus homes.
Right.
They are actually required to carry those.
Really?
Yeah. Most companies require you to carry a central alarm, fire, and burglar.
Yeah, I have that on all the time.
Protect the loss.
3 German Shepherds. I
Yeah,
know.
they'll-
yeah.
they'll do- yeah.
Oh yeah, your German shepherds are real. Yeah.
They bark.
You'd be
That's all
surprised.
we need to know.
We had
You
a
don't need to
golden
fear the
retriever
dogs.
eat a burger that broke into our house when my kids were babies.
went over there the
She
other
ate
day and they didn't make a peep.
But
I'm
they,
just
Did you go
kidding.
in the
They
house?
like me.
They like you.
And they like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she didn't go
And
in
I
the house.
didn't
But
go
they-
in the house. Oh
they
my
can-
God, no! They would eat me.
They can smell somebody who shouldn't be
They
there.
know, yeah.
They know. They
They
can just feel
smell.
it.
They
you know?
smell
Like I said, we had a
criminals.
golden retriever eat a guy who broke into our house when we were sleeping. And we woke up in the morning and there was blood all over the house.
Is the golden retriever okay?
The golden retriever was fine. She was bloody all
Bad
over.
taste in her
I
mouth.
didn't know what was going on. Ripped the front door off. Mm-hmm. The guy ended up jumping off our porch, this is when we lived in Milwaukee, into a bush. And they found it at a...
Is the bush okay?
Bush was not okay. We had to pull it up. I was
What?
pretty mad about that. It was a really old bush. And, yeah, they found him at the hospital.
Yeah, too
They
bad.
caught him.
Good.
Excellent.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, price to pay
And
when
that
you're
was
a
a
chew
golden
toy.
retriever that I always said, Oh, she would lick somebody to death. There's no way. But she knew.
They know.
She knew, and she.
I have a Chihuahua.
She didn't make a noise.
Yeah, but from ankle down, he's in trouble.
Ankle down, yeah. But they won't stop.
No, they
No,
don't.
not
stop.
that one.
He doesn't give a crap.
But Chihuahuas, I mean, they won't stop. They just
Right.
keep going and going and going.
Well, if you trip, they can chew wherever.
Yeah.
Right, you fall down and he's on you.
Yeah.
Of course,
Sadie
Romy probably hovers about waist level.
Sadie will just lick you to death. So I have no confidence in
That
that
would be
dog.
the insult to the injury.
She just is
She'll be like, okay, you bite, I lick. You bite, I lick.
happy.
Yeah.
You can't. You look at this dog's face and you're like, is she happy or is she crazy? Not sure, because she's always just like wide-eyed and smiling. And
Our lab would have a heart attack. She's 14. She's a lab. She probably would have a coronary.
Wolfgang would be all business, and Maverick he'd just follow his lead. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
Stella
whatever.
would
We're
say,
chewing.
I'm not giving you my ball.
No, yes, that's right.
Yeah, throw my ball, but I'm not going to
Get him out of here.
But you got to look
Looking
at
at my ball.
back to the coma thing. Most people grabbed their pets and pulled them out of the house,
100%.
too. You know what I mean? They got their pets out of there. So the looters knew that, for one, there's no
Right.
power, so there's no cameras. Some people's locks aren't going to work because they have the electric locks, right?
Hey, Tom, can I ask you a law enforcement question?
Sure.
You think we could get the names of the people who got arrested for potentially looting somebody's house?
I
and
think
do you
they
think
should
that
be
the
posted.
Yeah, the public would they would
Shame.
allow the public to deal
There-
with those
yeah, we
people
can
who
find
tried to
that
screw
out.
over our friends and neighbors?
I think there should be a shame list.
That'll be listed.
Heck yeah.
I think there should be
I
a shame
100%
list.
agree.
Because
Well,
I
just
bet you
read your
some of them
local
are from
newspaper.
the.
It should be in there.
I'm going to look.
But I think people need to know that local community people did
Yeah.
this. This wasn't just people coming from out of town.
Yeah, and that's
Insane.
that's devastation like this pulls out two types of people: the helpers and the looters.
Yeah.
You got good people out there doing good things, like everyone that showed up,
which we saw so much.
and
of
then
that.
you got horrible people out there just
Right.
doing unimaginable stuff. And
Right.
how could you? I couldn't imagine going into somebody's house at any time, but after the damage and the horror that they went through, and then steal from them.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get much lower than
These
that.
people have already been damaged, and they feel very invaded as it was. You know what I mean? It's very, violating.
Right.
To have
Yeah.
damage to your
Well,
house,
you have
right?
been violated. Now you're getting violated again.
Now you're
Right.
going to get it again.
And you're completely helpless because you're at the mercy of everything and everyone else
So
to get
helpless.
your life back
Right.
in order.
They need to be found, arrested, charged, throw the book at them, lock them up for the maximum sentence. My opinion.
Life.
Not to knock other
Yeah,
insurance
not a
agents,
Dugan
but when
sentence.
they just call you call your insurance agent and they say call the corporate office. Here's the 800 number for your claim. I just want to go. Come on, this is when we shine.
Right.
This is when we
Right.
should be like a rock star. This is where we should be, even if we just give them one task. Okay, pack a bag.
Yep.
Because it's so overwhelming for them. So you have to pick up that phone. You got to pick up your cell phone. It doesn't matter that they're calling you on your personal cell phone.
This is your
They're
job.
Afraid. They're scared.
Right.
Let's
Well,
calm them down.
right.
Where do you start?
Yeah.
That's-
Right?
you know,
They need, because they're very overwhelmed. So I've always told my staff, give them a task.
Yep.
One task. One very simple task it
Yep.
could be. And that's your only task that
And
you
it
need to do.
always works.
Yeah, and then it gives them that peace, that calming, feeling. But when you call your company or your agent and they tell you to call the 800 number to report the claim,
That's a slap
I just
want
to go, what the heck? Hey?
Yeah, nobody cares.
We have two companies that want us to do that, want us to have so they don't play phone tag and they're getting the statement right away. That night, that ain't happening.
Nope.
I'm totally going to report that for you. I'm totally going to take
No,
care
you're
of that for
reaching
you.
for a lifeline, and
Yeah, and
it's like
they
calling
need a
911
person.
and getting put on hold.
And also, can I just say that the tone with which you deliver information is a big deal. So I did call Renee and said, I don't know what I've got, but we've got damage and we're going to go deal with it and we're going to go. And she was even texting with me, and I can tell by the tone of her voice that everything's going to be okay. And
gotta
and
kinda
I
do
will
that.
say the insurance company called me the next day,
Yeah.
or whatever day it
Well,
was.
the problem was the companies were all closed that day.
Right.
So this was the third.
Right.
So you got people that were off all day doing their family picnics and stuff like, insurance company people, your adjusters and
Right.
stuff like that. So they were off all day. And
they weren't in the affected area. They had no idea.
Right. But they either ended up having to go to the office if they were one of the supervisors, or it did end up being deemed a cat loss, which
Yep.
is a catastrophic loss, which means that third-party adjusters come out and inspectors come out, and things happen much quicker because
Right.
it's an emergency. But you got to remember, these insurance companies were closed.
Right.
So, like, even me, I couldn't call them. There was nobody there to call.
Nobody to call.
You know, you're right. And then the next day they were
she did
closed
call
too.
me. Yeah, she did call me.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? Just cancel it. I have no damage to actual property. It was just trees, and we were able to manage that, and we got it all cleaned up. And so, I said, so you can just, shut that one down. And but again, the attitude with which you deliver the bad news
1,000,000%.
and the good news makes a huge difference. And who would not want to have something this horrific happen to them and be able to pick up the phone and talk to somebody with the kindness and compassion and, even in a terrible situation, appropriate cheerfulness like Renee.
Oh, that was nice.
No,
that's what I really try and do. But
right.
Yeah. I mean,
that's sometimes even just emotionally, you need to have that calm, cool, and collected person on your side and on your phone. And so, I don't know. Again, we have been talking about this for so many years now that when people tell me they don't have an agent, they don't have all their stuff put together in a package, I don't know why. Like,
You
I want
just
to
wanna go,
smack them.
and you don't
Get away.
pay. You don't pay me, the
No.
insurance company. But here's the deal: a lot of people believe that.
It costs extra.
It costs extra. And
No.
I'll say, no, I don't get paid by you. I get paid by the insurance company. Well, then they're like, well, the
They're
insurance
passing it
company
along.
they're passing it. No, they're not.
They're not.
Don't
That's
even
not
think
how
about that.
works.
Think about the help you're going to get.
And
Forget
what-
the money.
Right. And
I got somebody there right now.
And I would pay extra because I have
Sure.
had to pick up the phone when I am literally in a fetal position trying to figure out what I'm
Rocking
going to do.
in a corner in your closet because you don't know what you're going to do next. And I've
been
really
able
agree.
to stand up straight and walk and know with confidence that myself and my employees and the business were taken care of because I made one phone call.
Right.
So when people need to make this phone call and they need to, and they have finally figured out that this is the time
Don't
to
do it
get
online.
an
This is the time,
agent.
right, to get an agent.
Right. How do they get in touch with you?
You can give me a call at 262-742-4029.
If you just Google Henricks, Henricks,
No D.
She didn't say
Wilging,
D. I know.
Wilging, Henricks Wilging Insurance in Elkhorn. Renee will come up, call, and, or just, again, get an agent.
Get an agent.
Yeah, if you don't have a
This is
Renee,
a
go find one.
perfect example for why you need a person.
You have to have a relationship with your agent. Otherwise, there's a lot of times they start things, and it's like, that's not going to cost you anything else. You just have to document it. Oh, that was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, now I'm covered for it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
And a lot of times you just need someone saying, well, if you're okay, this is easy.
Right.
Yeah.
We just got to go through the
Yeah, you're
process
good.
and get through it.
Right. So thank you for
Sure,
coming and
sure. Thanks for having
clarifying
me.
some of that stuff and talking
was
a little bit about that.
It was a long week.
It was a long week.
It was a very
It's not
long
over
week.
yet.
Go
No.
enjoy your Sunday. You'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just relax.
Take a breath and business will start all up again tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it will. Yeah.
Jump on a
Anyway,
motorcycle,
okay.
go for a ride.
Yeah.
thank you, Renee.
I don't have one.
We have our
pick you up.
e-bikes.
We have our e-bikes.
Yeah. Next time Renee's in, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, coming up next, Just Stop.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got some. I can tell by the look on his face.
Just stop, Tom.
Just stop.
Just
Oh,
stop.
I'm going to get started.
Oh, jeez.
That-
Oh, jeez.
That's next right here on Lake 96.1.
Jeez.
Did you miss part of the show? You can find Life Matters with Tom and Nancy in its entirety. Just search Life Matters on Spotify, YouTube, or go to lake961.com.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
Stop it. Whoa. Stop right there.
Stop! Stop it!
Just stop talking.
Welcome to another edition of Just Stop.
Yeah, just stop.
Okay, we're going to go both ways here today on Just Stop because the first thing, you want the good news or the bad news?
Bad news.
Okay, well, then I'm going to let you start
Yeah.
because I'm the one that's going to stand here with a little bit of the good news, I think.
Well, my just stop is, it goes directly to that boat accident on Lake Geneva.
Right.
Stop running your mouth.
Yeah.
Stop talking about stuff you know nothing about.
Right.
I talked to one of the guys that was involved in the investigation on that. All I'm going to tell you is this. You don't know what kind of boat it was. You don't know what happened. It was an accident. It was a weather-related accident. Nobody did anything wrong.
This was a fluke.
It was an absolute fluke. They knew what they were doing on the lake. They weren't beginners or, being irresponsible. They were trying to do the right thing, and it happened. It is horribly unfortunate. We lost 3 kids out there. nothing good about it. It's all devastation. But why do you continue to try and devastate that family with lies, inconsistencies, and you don't know what you're talking about?
You know, I made a
Stop.
comment. I made a comment saying, if you weren't on that lake, you shouldn't be passing any judgment.
No.
And somebody got on there and called me a Karen. And I'm like, let me tell you something.
Let's do it to our face.
Yeah.
Come and say it to our face.
Come over here and tell me that.
Yeah,
because you're right.
Tired
Here's
of
the
it.
thing. I also spoke with someone, that captain, and remember, Ted Pankow, the executive director of the Water Safety Patrol, does our morning news.
Right.
Okay. I have direct contact with the exact information from the scene as you do with your law enforcement
I know
partners.
a person or two.
Right.
Yeah.
So trust me when I tell you, these people were trying to do absolutely everything right. This guy that was piloting that boat was a very long time experienced captain of a boat. He knew what he was doing.
Right.
And this storm came out of nowhere as far as the intensity.
Right.
Okay. Lake Geneva is very lucky that it took a little bit of the northern path that it did, or more boats would have been overturned and more people would have been hurt or killed. But as far as like what you said, trying to throw judgment out there on the parents,
Right.
You know what?
They did everything right.
They absolutely did.
Yeah.
And you know what? How many times have we said, everybody put life jackets on? You don't. People did.
Right.
They did
Right.
have life jackets on. They had them on all day. They were doing everything right. And so, you know, I have the two words for you that I cannot say on the radio. If you think that you
Yes.
know better than what you think these parents and the rest of the people on the
Right.
lake were doing, okay? And so just stop talking about it.
Right. And if it comes up, those kids were not killed on the lake.
It was an accident.
They died in a horrible accident.
Right.
I'm tired of the media.
Well,
you're seeing it all over the place. 3 children killed on Lake Geneva. That is not what happened.
Right.
Talking about using the wrong word.
Right.
You
Well,
know, it just
clickbait.
infuriates me. Absolutely.
It's all clickbait.
It's just about getting a response.
Right.
It was horrible. They
Right.
died.
And you know, a GoFundMe was started for these children, and they're taking the money and they're going to donate it to children's
Right.
charities and stuff. And so, because, you know, that's another way, you know, people look at all these situations and they feel so helpless. Like, we want to do something. But so that's what the family did, was they gave you an avenue to do something that helps other children. They didn't have to do that. Like,
No,
this is just like, please.
This is going to go on forever. But all those people out there running your mouth saying, well, if they can afford a boat on Lake Geneva, they don't deserve to get any money. It's
They're not taking
That's not
it.
what it's about.
Right.
You know, and if you're one of those people, stop it. Just
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Right. Also, if you were one of the people that attempted to drive through the neighborhoods and then complained, like we talked about during Renee's interview,
Yeah.
about the police aren't letting us go sightsee.
They're doing their job.
You know what? Same 2 words for you, dude, because you should never encroach upon people's privacy that way. That's how I looked at it.
The way I look
these
at it-
people are suffering a horrible tragedy.
Correct.
Their homes are damaged. Their lives are changed. The power's off. They have nowhere to go. They have no idea what's going to happen. Now it's dark, and you want to drive through there and take pictures?
You should be arrested.
You should be arrested.
If we had the manpower, I think everyone should. You know, anybody that was
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
I didn't go anywhere near it. I drove exactly where I had to, or where I was allowed to, going down to the tower Friday night so we could go check that out.
Yep.
And I went home a different way to avoid that area altogether.
Yeah, I checked
wanna
in
be a
first to
problem in
see
there.
where I could go and couldn't go, and
Right.
but you're right. I do have a little bit of a different ability because I have to get to the broadcast things.
We
and
had a reason to be there.
Never took advantage. Like, I would never take advantage of that.
No.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just everybody, all of the negative stuff just was unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's a shame. It was very disappointing. Just very, very disappointing.
But the good news.
On the other side of the coin, I don't think that I have ever felt so proud of where I live
Yeah.
as I have over the last week, with all of the different municipalities, neighbors, businesses, nonprofits, all of these people coming together to lift those who have been affected from all the way. This thing started in Sharon.
Right.
And damage was recorded all the way to Racine.
All the way through Walworth County and Racine County.
Yeah. I have never been so proud of people and this community as I have been watching everyone come together. It doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter if we know you or not, doesn't matter. Like, tell us what you need, came to help. And we will try to get it to you. And
it goes outside of our county, too. Rock County, Dane County, Jefferson, all those guys, they were sending law enforcement and
all
fire rescue.
Yep.
Yeah, the community outreach was unbelievable. Yeah. And I agree. Very proud
Organizations coming in on Thursday and Friday to the church and just, letting people come together and feeding them and I mean, just, and then of course, the city of Lake Geneva has put out a lot of different information about resources as far as disaster response. And, they've given a phone number out if you wanted to volunteer, or lists of donations that are needed, and, what kind of volunteers that you can do. If you want to know some of this information, you just call 211 on your phone, or it's for resources. And then also, if you want to report damage, if you haven't reported damage, that's another thing that they do want you to do, because that helps with regard to how much aid that they can get from, federal programs and things like that to bring into the community to help people get back on their feet. And so it just, I can't say that I was surprised by it, because this is what we do in this community.
Yeah.
We
really
don't bat an eye about helping when it's needed.
Yeah. When and where? There's the only questions.
Exactly.
When do you need me, and where do you want me to go?
Exactly. And I just want to say one more thing. So I had put, obviously last weekend, first of all, let's go back here. Last weekend, we did not discuss this on the show because it was a holiday weekend and we were recording. Okay. So we did not talk about this last week. However, I did put something on our Facebook page that I wrote about some of these people going back and forth about celebrating or not celebrating, or things like that. And lots and lots of people read it, and lots of people commented that, they either hadn't thought about it that way, or, when you kind of take a step back and you look there, everybody grieves differently. As some people have to jump in and distract themselves from their own issues and help others, and that's their distraction. Some people just kind of freeze and need help and need somebody to come up and say, okay, come on with us and we'll help you. And some people, just they crave. Your wife said this to me. She said some people just need normal.
Yeah.
So when everybody did the 4th of July.
When we were going up the road to check the tower, there's fireworks going off all over the place. Right.
And I was like, and I even said it myself, and she checked me. Yeah. I said, I can't believe that people are doing this. Oh my God. Like, just let these people relax for a minute without all the fireworks. And she's like, Nancy, some people got to have normal. Right. And she was right. Yeah. And it completely changed the way I looked at that. And so I did write that on Saturday. Again, everybody, none of that takes away from the fact that everybody came together and has continued to come together to help each other. And what they were doing was celebrating the strength under which this country has survived for 250 years. Yeah. And we deserve to pat ourselves on the back for having that strength, because it's that exact personality trait of this company, or this country, that has gotten us through and that will get everyone through this disaster.
That's why we keep surviving. We're the biggest, baddest, unified country. You know, I wish that Charlie Daniels song would start getting played again.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, we fight amongst ourselves. We disagree, but as a country, we're unstoppable.
We've got this. Yeah. So anyway, I know that there is information. We have put information on our Facebook page and, on our social media. And then, obviously, City of Lake Geneva, Town of Geneva, Delavan, severely affected, all of those places. Please just know, first of all, we have you in our hearts. We are thinking about you and doing what we can and broadcasting the information that you need as much as we can, everywhere we can, in order to help recover or in order to help you know what you can and cannot do in order to contribute to other people's recovery. But I will say, again, as the general manager of this radio station and watching so many aspects of this and being involved in, again, so many different parts and pieces and of all of this, I have never been more proud of this community. And I think that so many of our leaders in Walworth County and Racine County can actually just absolutely back that statement that I just made. We've got you. Like, whatever anybody can do, you know that everybody has each other's back, and this is a very, very great place to live. Absolutely. So anyway, coming up next, Alex is here with Main Street Messages. She's got a few more things to talk about as well, as far as resources and things like that have been put together for the community. And so that's next. Have a great Sunday. Main Street Messages coming up next right here on Lake 96.1.
Main Street Messages with Alex, brought to you by the Lake Geneva Business Improvement District.
All right, sweetheart, you've had your fun. Now let's get down to serious business.
Welcome to another edition of Main Street Messages. Alex Benante, the Executive Director of Downtown Lake Geneva, the Business Improvement District, joins us once again. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Recovering. We're all recovering.
Yes.
Yes. I know this is one of the things that you want to talk about all of the things that happened and didn't happen. Thankfully, some things were much better than what we initially thought that they were going to be with this storm that went through on July 3rd. So you have a perspective, though, you wanted to share, and you wanted to talk a little bit about how downtown Lake Geneva and those businesses came together to affect some pretty quick recovery. And so what's your thought process here? You were downtown when it happened, weren't you?
Yeah, actually, on probably on our social medias, you would have seen a picture of me in our design committee chair. We were putting flags into flower pots on Friday afternoon. It was sunny. It was hot. I was smelling bad. Alethea definitely didn't want to take a picture with me, but it was gorgeous out. And then I was literally just leaving town to catch up on getting some stuff ready for the 4th. And I was on Highway 12 when the storm just flew in and had to get off the highway really fast because I have a very small, lightweight car, and it felt like it was going to lift off the ground.
Wow.
So I did a very Wisconsin thing and found a bar in the middle of a cornfield that I ran into, and 3 people had to open the door to help me get in because we couldn't open it.
Wow.
And watch the storm go by. But then it was, obviously, as the world knows, it's made national news.
Yeah.
That destruction that happened was just very
insane.
Intense. Yes.
Insane. Ted Pankow and I did an interview for Wisconsin Public Radio last week about 2 things. Number one, how quickly that storm came in, and the second thing about how this community has come together.
Yes.
That was something that I have not talked to anybody so far that anybody has seen the speed with which that overtook the community. Nobody's ever seen that. I mean, I've lived here for over 25 years now. I've never seen anything like that in this area. Ted, Water Safety Patrol, they haven't seen anything like that. But it's incredible how quickly everybody responded, grabbing people, bringing them into the stores, getting the store shut down, getting them in the back, getting them in safe spots, all of that. Everybody just followed their instincts, and there were 100% there were lives saved because of everybody's reaction.
Of course.
I'm so proud of everybody in this area.
Yeah, and and even the aftermath, something that is so exemplary of our community was how fast things, moved to recover.
Right.
I've worked in a couple emergency planning services, initiatives. I was around when the Burlington flood happened and hit Fox River when we were living in Salem Lakes, you and I. Mm-hmm. So I was part of, helping with some of that assistance and working with Red Cross at the time because I was working for the Village of Salem Lakes.
Oh, yeah.
So that was my first encounter ever with emergency planning, and then I've done that again in Kenosha. And the way that the city handled immediate action, not only for, the recovery of, those victims on the lake, but, went into immediate, assessment of damage and just pulled all the first responders together. The support, the support crews came in from all over the place. And it was remarkable to see how communicative people were and how people just wanted to come and help. So something that we jumped into right away was obviously checking in on our neighbors, checking in on our businesses. And we weren't the worst affected. You know, our neighbors in Como, it pure devastation. And, I know that part of my job is known, obviously, the name is Downtown Lake Geneva. But, we support all our neighbors because we all have to work together. And our employees live in Como. Our customers live in Como. We are all together in this. And so immediately my board wanted to get involved. I have amazing board members that, were calling their food vendors because we have some restaurant owners to have donations from Gordon Food Service to come out for people without power. We had mobilized work with all of our hotels because I happen to know a few hoteliers. And
just a couple.
Yeah. And of course it was the 4th of July weekend. So, you're talking about this is a make or break it weekend for so many businesses. And yet people were, opening up their doors, giving safe spaces at hotels, cooling stations and places to charge your phone, whatever hotel rooms were possibly available, we were getting to be able to give to people who, had the most damage. And we also started a GoFundMe page to just figure out ways to get need to the most needy. And
that's a question that somebody's asked me. What are your plans? How do you know yet how you're going to be able to disperse that money, or to what's going to qualify for that? Or are we still kind of putting that together, assessing that, so to speak?
That's a great question. So honestly, there's a couple different avenues, and it's been discussed at the board level if we're going to be giving direct grants. However, we've partnered with Walworth County's Habitat for Humanity. They have been remarkable and stepped up. One of my board members works with them very closely as well. So made that introduction, and I spent my 4th of July. Actually, I was supposed to be in Old World, Wisconsin. And,
we talked about that.
Yeah. But we just spent the day organizing how do we assess these needs? How do we mobilize volunteer crew that is possible? How do we get professional crews where that's more needed? Because obviously safety is a consideration. And they just were fully equipped to handle all of that.
Oh, cool.
So we've been partnering with them. Anyone who has had damage can apply for financial and other volunteer repairs for their home. So that's where our focus is, mostly on that, getting your residents' homes back up and running.
Because, we had, it's interesting, Renee Wilging joined us for the show today, and it's interesting the difference between what insurance will cover and what it will not cover. And you think, oh, well, a tree fell on your house, it's insured and stuff. This is a very tricky, complicated insurance process and recovery process with regard to financial impact. And so those funds are going to be highly helpful, very, very helpful.
Well, and a lot of the people that were affected also are tenants. So, so they're left homeless. They're having to put repairs in and hope for reimbursement later, which, that's a whole new process. So if we can help mitigate that and get them able to live in their home sooner, that's been the, main focus for us. Now, I do know we also have been posting communications about the bridge for food bank. I did learn, if not everyone has heard about this, if you are a SNAP recipient who lives in the area, who's been affected, you can actually apply for reimbursement of all your lost food product. You can have up to $500 for a natural emergency. And because we were declared an emergency from the city,
100% we were.
Yeah, they can have up to $500 worth of their groceries replenished.
Wow.
Yes. So, and I do believe that the bridge can help them with that process, but also it is on the state website for your SNAP benefits.
That is a huge deal
Yes.
because there were houses without power for
days,
like 4 or 5 days.
Correct.
Right. And so that, oh man, that's a big deal.
Yeah. So that we've really taken the point of, where we can communicate and where we can connect people. That's our specialty. I partner with so many different organizations. I mean, the JCs stepped out and did amazing volunteer work. And so to be able to, tell them, hey, this house was, in worse shape, or, tell the residents, hey, the JCs are doing this, reach out to them because they'll be on their way. They were able to help for several days, which is amazing.
Right.
Some of our business owners just, they were impacted. Steve from Lake City Social, his house was without power for, I want to say, like 3 days.
Right. And he's got 2 small children.
Yes.
And, right.
Yeah, and he opened his doors immediately. He's the one that got Gordon Food Service to donate non-perishable food items. He had his specialty banquet room open for a cooling space. Him and Anthony from Magpie set up food at Next Door Pub Lakeside at Como to give free food for those
the food
affected.
truck down there. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So and my hoteliers, again, they were impacted. There was a hotel, Fairfield Inn. They were without power for a couple days. We were moving people to be, in safe areas.
Right.
And then as soon as they had rooms open, every single day I was getting assessments of, hey, we have this many rooms if that's needed, so that I can connect, people directly to that. So knowing that is how our community rises up was an incredible experience at the end of the day.
We're talking with Alex Benante, the executive director of downtown Lake Geneva, the Lake Geneva Business Improvement District. That's just what we do here, right? I mean, I can't think of any kind of tragedy or catastrophe or disaster or issue that we have reacted any differently. It's just what everybody does around here. I mean, even Bigfoot High School's football team came and we're chopping up trees. And, again, like you said, all these organizations and all these teams of people just kind of went in, spread out, and got stuff done. And that's just what we do around here. We're strong around here, and it's that strength. And, we talked a little bit about, the 4th of July celebrations went on.
Yes.
And they should have. Now, I think initially we were all like, oh my gosh, everything has to stop. Everything has to stop. But then as we sort of reassessed and looked around and saw, like you said, the community coming together like that, the July 4th celebrations were a celebration of that strength, of doing just that for 250 years.
Right. And let's face it, as a local who's gone through something traumatic, sometimes you just need that sense of normalcy.
Right.
And I think that Visit Lake Geneva did a very great job paying tribute to, the family that lost their babies. And, the mayor had his words. I know that I think it's called the Lions Club that was there. Yeah, I think they were there. They had, a special recognition of the victims as well.
Right.
And people in the crowds were asking to donate. Visitors from outside of the area that came here for the 4th of July weekend. These tourists were devastated by seeing us devastated. Right. And, knowing that they were coming, and I've had multiple people saying, hey, we're going to come back and support you guys and, spend our money here, because at the end of the day, our business has lost a lot too.
They did.
And I have to think about numbers. That is my job, is to think about business sustainability. And again, this was a make or break it weekend, and a lot of people lost that opportunity, but they've never complained about it. No. Not one.
And not only that, but as they were losing, they continued to give.
Yes. That's what it is.
Yeah. Tell people how to, if they want to donate to the GoFundMe, or you said that the Habitat for Humanity, how do they reach out to see if they qualify for some help there? What are those contact details?
So the best resource is our Downtown Lake Geneva Facebook page. Okay. We have a couple posts pinned to the top. And the first one is exactly those resources. If you've been affected by damage, here's a form to fill out to get the assessment started with Habitat for Humanity. There is a donation link directly towards Habitat for Humanity, so that and you can direct it towards that particular relief.
Sure, you can designate it.
Yes. So, and then ours was already up, so we have attached that as well, and that GoFundMe link is in there as also. So, and as of, and I haven't checked it in a couple days, but we were close to about $10,000, and so and the bid board, is discussing, additional, investment into
Maybe
that.
matching.
Yes, exactly. So, of course, we're a government commission. So we have to have designated meetings and, Yes, so all that's happening next week. But we, estimate that we probably fundraise between the GoFundMe link and Habitat for Humanity directly somewhere around $15,000.
And that's quick.
Yes.
Right.
Oh,
and
yeah. That was
not
the matter
over.
for a few days. Yeah.
Right.
And it's continuing on. We'll keep it on as long as, Habitat recommends for it.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Thank you to the bid and really everybody involved in downtown Lake Geneva because, again, this is the perfect picture of what these communities in Walworth County and their surrounding counties even are all about. It's just what we do. We get together. We take care of each other. And, that's a shining example. That whole situation with, the GoFundMe and Habitat for Humanity, that's the perfect combination of help for people around here. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, and thank you for, highlighting the community and just, you had posted your post about, 4th of July, and it was moving. People need to hear that we are together. We all grieve in different ways. We also support each other in different ways. And it's, it all comes out beautiful in the end.
Right. You and I both cried.
Yes.
We made each other cry.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, Alex Benante, the executive director of the Downtown Lake Geneva Business Improvement District. Thank you so much. Go to their Facebook page, find all those links, either donate if you can, or if you need help, there's information there. And, we're just all here. We're in this together.
Yes. Thank you.
Coming up next, more music right here on Lake 96.1. By the way, Alex will be back next week as well.